how our free press media are conducting themselves with respect to Brett Kavanaugh and his nomination. Or is it his wife? Has Brett Kavanaugh's wife been nominated to the Supreme Court? Ashley Kavanaugh? Well, National Review is reporting that the New York Times and the Associated Press have filed public records requests for emails sent by the wife of Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh during her tenure as a local town manager. The Maryland public records request obtained by the conservative political advocacy group America Rising Squared specifically seeks emails sent or received by Ashley Kavanaugh containing politically charged words such as gun, abortion, and gay, among others. Mrs. Kavanaugh previously served as the first secretary to George W. Bush, is currently the Chevy Chase, Maryland Section 5 town manager. The Associated Press records request forgoes the time specificity, instead seeking all emails sent or received by Mrs. Kavanaugh during her time in office. Mr. Kavanaugh, a two-time Yale graduate who previously served as a federal appeals court judge, has come under recent scrutiny for his service in George W. Bush White House, where his critics allege may have been involved in crafting the legal underpinnings for the CIA's enhanced interrogation program. Well, to me, that's a feather in his cap. He is denied under oath having any knowledge of the legal work that justified the program. Look how they look at this. So now, if you supported our effort on 9/11 after we were attacked to get information to make sure we're not attacked again, now you are disqualified to serve on the Supreme Court. Moreover, we want to know what your wife has to think and say the New York Times and the Associated Press. This is so pathetic. It's the freedom of the press. We just have a right to know. We have a right to know because we want to know. Is she serving on the Supreme Court? No. No. What did Ruth Bader Ginsburg's husband think about things? I don't know. I don't think they ever filed a FOIA request on him. How about Sotomayor's husband, assuming she has one? I don't know. How about Breyer's wife, assuming he has one? We don't even know who their spouses are. And I'm sure all the women's civil rights groups are going to step up, disgusted by this Holocaust-denying New York Times and the Associated Press, trying to dig up information on Mrs. Kavanaugh. I don't believe she was nominated. What next? Do you want the elementary school records on the little girl? Or the middle school or high school records on the older daughter? Sure. You know, these Democrats conduct these outrageous investigations. You got the Russia one going on. Now you got them not only going after Kavanaugh, but going after his wife. And we sit here like a bunch of bumps on a log while they take this country over. They use the Constitution against the Constitution. The New York Times doesn't represent me or the vast majority of the American people with this kind of request. Neither does the Associated Press. They're hiding behind freedom of the press. This has nothing to do with freedom of the press. It has nothing to do with anything except advancing the agenda of the Democrat Party and the progressive movement. There are legitimate questions to ask Mr. Kavanaugh. These are not them. These are not them. These are phony news outlets. Unbelievable. And I'm sure Jake Tapper did a whole report on it today. Or maybe when he shows up as the Ed McMahon to Stephen Colbert, he'll mention that. Hey, you know what, Stephen? It's really inappropriate. Shut up, you idiot. Who the hell's Jake Tapper anyway? Tapper rhymes with clapper. There you go.